Hi, welcome to the second video blog post. You guys really seem to enjoy this first one, and thanks a lot for all the great comments and suggestions. And if you have suggestions of things you'd like to see me talk about, feel free to post it here on the YouTube channel or go to our website or something along those lines. We'll be happy to take care of it. We got a lot in store for you this week. We're going to clean up a fine mess. We got some pruning or not pruning we're going to do. We've got some surprises coming along. We're going to encounter a few problems along the way as well. So let's get started. This is my main rose bed. You may remember from last time we were looking at the video that we had just cleaned it up and I had done the pruning, but we hadn't done the mulching. Now the mulching's down and it's finished. My goal this year is to get some other perennials and some other shrubs into this bed. I've been saying that for 3 or 4 years. I know some of you keep hearing this, but this year I really want to make it a try because I need to get a little bit more color and some more texture going in this garden. But basically, my chores in here are done and it's budding up really, really well. This is the bed. It's nothing but Delbards, and you can see now it's been mulched, it's been weeded, it's been cleaned. I've trimmed it up, trimmed the dead wood. So this is coming along nicely, also starting to bud up really, really well. Looking forward to seeing this one this year. You may recall from the first post that we did that we had an area of roses that had died back completely to the ground, one particular variety. These are them. Take a look. I cut them back really, really hard, and I've got new growth on almost all of them, including this tiny little piece of growth right here. So that shows it looks like our radical surgery has worked. It's a bed that we saw in the last video blog post. It was one of the ones that I was on the fence about, am I going to prune it or not going to prune it? Not at this point, as you can tell by taking a look at it, it has completely gotten away from me. So I don't want to prune it because I don't want to lose the spring flowers. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do a little bit of shaping. I've got some ones over here that are kind of arching out a little bit. I'll shape them down a little bit, shape them there. That's that climber in the back that I talked about. That's Pappy Delbard. Same thing. Just kind of shape it up a little bit, but leave a lot of fullness, leave a lot of the canes with the buds on it. The roses over here are shorter. I'm not going to worry about those. I'm also going to get, of course, dead wood out and the things that go along those lines. We always take care. I've got this area behind me pretty much done now. I just brought it in shaped a little bit. I'll give you some better shots afterward. But I want to make sure, I'm going to get out of the frame here. I want to make sure you can get a really nice clear shot of the mess with these climbers I've got back there. And it's not really a mess because I just let them get out of hand. But just have a good look at it. I'm just going to go through it again, clean it up a little bit, then you can show afterwards, then you can kind of see what I've done to try to bring a little bit of order, but without losing my spring flowering. Here you go. This took me probably about an hour, something like that, to get it done. But you can see again, it's just tidier. It's not perfect. No, I was too late to prune this year. So it's never going to be the way you might ideally want it to be. But at least it looks a little bit neater, and I'm not sacrificing my spring flower. And it's those two combinations I was going after. I can always do more trimming later, but for right now, I'm pretty pleased with the way this looks. Before we leave this bed, I've got one last thing I want to show you. This area in here is a rose, was a rose, until my wife accidentally ran over with a lawnmower last year. And I'm not talking just like a little mower, I'm talking a 5-foot deck behind a full-size Ford tractor. And it just wiped this thing out. This is why I like own root roses. I jokingly write in my book, well, you can run over it with a lawnmower and it'll come back. Well, yes, you can, see? New growth here. New growth here, and this little piece of growth right here. This is going to all fill in very, very quickly. In fact, here it is again too, coming up here. That's one of the reasons I like own root roses as well. Some of you probably noticed that there's a lot more distant shots where I'm further away from the camera than I've ever done before in the videos. That's because I got a new toy. It's a little thing here in my pocket. It's called a Zoom HD video recorder, H1 handy recorder. I've got it hooked to a lapel mic, which is right here on my lapel. That's why the sound is consistent now, no matter where I am. This is going to be fun because we'll be able to take some shots that are much further away and show you a much different perspective on the stuff that I do. So I got a new toy, which I can justifiably say is a business expense. At least that's what I'm telling my wife, and don't say anything about it. Well, look at this. This is Rev D'Or. From here to here, this is nothing but just one giant Rev D'Or plant. I didn't prune it at all this year. Again, I was too late. And you know what? I'm kind of glad I didn't. This is going to be one heck of a show. And when it blooms, you better believe we're going to come back and take a look at it again. Wow. This is a close-up of Souvenir de Madame Léonie Viennot. She is always the first rose to bloom in my garden. And I absolutely adore her. This is Perezza. It's a repeat form of Lady Banks rose, white one obviously. Discovered in Italy, I believe in the Finesci garden. I managed to get a hold of one and I like it. Even though it's in shade here, the other parts of it are in more sun, but I thought you'd enjoy seeing the blooms in shade like this. It's a really lovely, sweet little rose. My first bloom of climbing pearl drift this season, given to me by the late Mike Lowe. Really neat little climber, maybe 6 to 8 feet. You'll also see it sold sometimes under the name E.B. Legris. Great climber for a fence, a pillar rose, or something like that. This is what is known as the shack garden. It is at the moment in the worst shape, as you can see. I'm almost embarrassed to show it, but I promised. This here is the silver moon. On the shack right there, that big old thing draping all over the place. On the other side is Souvenir de Madame Leonie Villeneuve. And this is going to get pruned this summer. Another shot of the shack covered by Souvenir de Madame Leonie Villeneuve and Silver Moon on the other side. I should have pruned this last summer because the spring flowering roses like these are, you prune them after they bloom. But I was writing the book and couldn't get to it. Another happy accident here is you'll see that Souvenir de Madame is blooming on the left. That's where she comes up from. And what's nice about this, it was total accident. Silver Moon starts blooming after Souvenir de Madame Leonie Villeneuve starts to wane. So I actually get a very extended season with this thing. Well, you probably remember what a mess the shack garden was. Well, take a look at it now. It has been cleaned, it has been mulched, and Silver Moon is ready to go. Lost these to voles this year. This is the first time in probably a decade I've lost roses to voles. We've got Jack Russell Terriers that normally get at them, but I think this part of the garden was a little overgrown and they just couldn't get in there. So we've got to clean that up and make sure that they can get back on their job. This is just sad. This rose has probably got infected completely with rose rosette disease. You can kind of see the malformed growth that's going on here. That's that witch's broom type growth. I pruned out the infected cane last year, hoping I'd catch it before it spread to the rest of the rows, and it looked like I missed it. I failed. So the only thing I can really do is dig this out, and it's a shame because it's an old rose. I've had it for a long time. It blooms beautifully, but unfortunately there's no cure for rose rosette disease, folks, so you've got to be harsh. We've covered a lot in this post, and I hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly looked at some beds again, saw some new growth from some roses we thought had died back to the ground. We decided to prune or not to prune or how much, and cleaned up a really fine mess. We also unfortunately saw a few problems, and that's really sad. One of which was a rose that has rose rosette disease and has to be dug out, and I hate doing that, but there's no choice. But you know, when things end, things also begin again, so that's what this is about. This is an old rose called Yolanda de Aragon. It's an old garden rose. And I like to keep these around, but first of all, I love them. This is what got me into roses, are these old roses. But second of all, I remind myself that even with all today's modern roses, just how good garden roses these old roses make. So don't overlook these things. This one was given to me by a dear friend of mine named Carol Meyer. And it also reminds me of her, but it also reminds me of a dear friend of mine, Peter Beals, who we lost last year. Peter always called these old roses the old beauties. And that's the nice thing about this Yolanda de Aragon as it continues to grow. It's going to remind me of Peter, it's going to remind me of Carol, and it's just going to remind me of Peter's phrase of the old beauties. And I think that's the language of flowers.